Azerbaijani, pronunciation, /Azerbaijani //ni/ /45 Azeri, /Azeri Azeri Turkish or Azerbaijani Turkish, żəərbəjdʒən dili, is a language belonging to the Turkic language family, spoken primarily in the South Caucasus region by the Azerbaijani people also known as Azerbaijani Turks. The language is spoken mainly in Azerbaijan, Iran, especially Iranian Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russia, especially Dagestan Republic, and Turkey, and also in parts of Iraq, Syria, and Turkmenistan. North Azerbaijani is spoken in Azerbaijan, where it is the official language, and also southern Dagestan, in the southern Caucasus Mountains and in parts of Central Asia. South Azerbaijani has speakers mainly in the northwest of Iran, also known as Iranian Azerbaijan, where it is known as Turki or Türkü, and also in parts of Iraq and Turkey. Azerbaijani is a member of the Oghuz branch of the Turkic languages. It is closely related to Turkish, Qashqai, Turkmen and Crimean Tatar, with which it is, to varying degrees, mutually intelligible. Today's Azerbaijani languages evolved from the Eastern Oghuz branch of Western, Oghuz, Turkic, which spread to the Caucasus, in Eastern Europe, and Northern Iran, in Western Asia, during the medieval Turkic migrations, and has been heavily influenced by Persian. Arabic also influenced the language, but Arabic words were mainly transmitted through the intermediary of literary Persian. Azerbaijani gradually supplanted the Iranian languages in what is now northern Iran, and a variety of Caucasian languages in the Caucasus, particularly Urdu. By the beginning of the 16th century, it had become the dominant language of the region, and was a spoken language in the court of the Safavid Empire. The historical development of Azerbaijani can be divided into two major periods: early, c. 16th to 18th century, and modern, 18th century to present. Early Azerbaijani differs from its descendant in that it contained a much larger number of Persian and Arabic loanwords, phrases, and syntactic elements. Early writings in Azerbaijani also demonstrate linguistic interchangeability between Oghuz and Kipchak elements in many aspects, such as pronouns, case endings, participles, etc. As Azerbaijani gradually moved from being merely a language of epic and lyric poetry to being also a language of journalism and scientific research, its literary version has become more or less unified and simplified with the loss of many archaic Turkic elements, stilted Iranisms and Ottomanisms, and other words, expressions, and rules that failed to gain popularity among the Azerbaijani-speaking masses. Between c. 1900 and 1930, there were several competing approaches to the unification of the national language in Azerbaijan popularized by the literati, such as Hasan Bayzardabi and Mahmud Aga Shadaktinsky. Despite major differences, they all aimed primarily at making it easy for semi-literate masses to read and understand literature. They all criticized the overuse of Persian, Arabic, Ottoman Turkish, and other foreign, mainly Russian, elements in both colloquial and literary language and called for a simpler and more popular style. The Russian conquest of the South Caucasus in the 19th century split the language community across two states. The Soviet Union promoted development of the language, but set it back considerably with two successive script from Perso-Arabic script to Latin and then to Cyrillic, while Iranian Azerbaijanis continued to use the Perso-Arabic script as they always had. Despite the wide use of Azerbaijani in Azerbaijan during the Soviet era, it became the official language of Azerbaijan only in 1956. After independence, Azerbaijan decided to switch back to the Latin script. Classical literature in Azerbaijani was formed in the 15th century based on the various early Middle Ages dialects of Tabriz and Shirvan. These dialects were used by classical Azerbaijani writers Nazimi, Fuzuli, and Katai. Modern literature in Azerbaijan is based on the Shirvani dialect mainly, while in Iran it is based on the Tabrizi one. The first newspaper in Azerbaijani, Kainai, was published in 1875. In mid-19th century it was taught in the schools of Baku, Ganja, Shaki, Tbilisi, and Yerevan. Since 1845, it has also been taught in the University of St. Petersburg in Russia. Lingua franca. Azerbaijani served as a lingua franca throughout most parts of Transcaucasia, except the Black Sea coast, in southern Dagestan, eastern Turkey and Iranian Azerbaijan from the 16th century to the early 20th century, alongside the cultural, administrative, court literature, and most importantly official language of all these regions, namely Persian. Per the 1829 Caucasus School Statute, Azerbaijani was to be taught in all district schools of Ganja, Shusha, Nuka, present-day Shaki, Shamaki, Guba, Baku, Derbent, Edivan, Nakhchivan, Akaltzik, and Lankaran. Beginning in 1834, it was introduced as a language of study in Kutaisi instead of Armenian. In 1853, Azerbaijani became a compulsory language for students of all backgrounds in all of the South Caucasus with the exception of the Tiflis Governorate. Varieties. Azerbaijani language is sometimes considered a variety of Turkish language. Azerbaijani is sometimes classified as two languages or dialects, North and South Azerbaijani. Although there is a fair degree of mutual intelligibility between them, there are also morphological and phonological differences. 4 varieties have been accorded ISO 639-3 codes: North Azerbaijani, South Azerbaijani, Selçuk, and Qashqai. Glottolog, based on Johansson, 2006, and Pekenderf, 2007, classifies North Azeri with Selçuk in one branch of the Oghuz languages, and South Azeri with Qashqai in another. North Azerbaijani. North Azerbaijani, or North Azeri, is the official language of Azerbaijan. It is closely related to the modern Turkish due to the fact that Azerbaijani language is a Turkic language. It is also spoken in southern Dagestan, along the Caspian coast in the southern Caucasus Mountains, and scattered through Central Asia. There are some 7.3 million native speakers, and about 8 million second language speakers. The Shirvan dialect is the basis of standard Azerbaijani. Since 1992, it has been officially written with a Latin/Roman script in Azerbaijan, but the older Cyrillic script was still widely used in the late 1990s. South Azerbaijani. South Azerbaijani, or South Azeri, is spoken in northwestern Iran and to a lesser extent in neighboring regions of Iraq and Turkey, with smaller communities in Afghanistan and Syria. In Iran, the Persian word for Azerbaijani is Turki, which literally means Turkish. In Azerbaijani it is usually pronounced as Türkü. In Iran, it is spoken in East Azerbaijan and West Azerbaijan, Ardabil, Zanjan, and parts of Kurdistan, Hamadan, Markazi, Kashvan and Gilan. It is also spoken in some districts of Tehran and across Tehran province. Most sources report the percentage of South Azerbaijani speakers at around 16% of the Iranian population, or approximately 16.9 million people worldwide. In 1992–1993, when Azerbaijan Popular Front Party was in power in Azerbaijan, the official language of Azerbaijan was renamed by the parliament as Turk Dili, Turkish. However, since 1994 the Soviet-era name of the language, Azerbaijani Dili, Azerbaijani, has been re-established and reflected in the constitution. Varalk, the most important literary Azerbaijani magazine published in Iran, uses the term Turkey, Turkish in English or Turki in Persian, to refer to the Azerbaijani language. South Azerbaijani speakers in Iran often refer to the language as Turki, distinguishing it from Istanbul Turki, Istanbul Turkish, the official language of Turkey. Some people also consider Azerbaijani to be a dialect of a greater Turkish language and call it Azerbaijani Turks, Azerbaijani Turkish or Turkish of Azerbaijan, and scholars such as Vladimir Minersky used this definition in their works. ISO encodes its two varieties, North Azerbaijani and South Azerbaijani, as distinct languages. According to the Linguosphere Observatory, all Oghuz languages form part of a single outer language of which North and South Azerbaijani are inner languages. Vocabulary. Notice that Azerbaijani has informal and formal ways of saying things. This is because there is more than one meaning to you in Turkic languages like Azerbaijani and Turkish, as well as in many other languages. The informal you is used when talking to close friends, relatives, animals, or children. The formal you is used when talking to someone who is older than you or someone for whom you would like to show respect, a professor, for example. As in many Romance languages, personal pronouns can be omitted, and they are only added for emphasis. Azerbaijani is a very phonetic language, so pronunciation is very easy. Most words are pronounced exactly as they are spelled.